How much should you charge as a content creator working with brands? That is one of the most common questions I keep getting asked. And truly, there are still a lot of unknowns around this new industry that is growing faster than the speed of light. Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I share my best tips, tricks, and strategies to help you grow and monetize your personal brand on social media and beyond. And today we're gonna be diving deep into the world of creator partnerships, because this is an industry that is not only thriving, it's booming. And brands are finally starting to realize the unmatched value that creators bring into the table. Crafting content that not only engages, but that resonates deeply with niche, hyper-targeted communities. Yet, despite this growing recognition, many creators and influencers find themselves at crossroads, unsure of how and what to charge brands as content creators. So today, we're gonna be uncovering it all. But before getting started, I do want to point out the importance that content creators and influencers are having in every single economy. We've seen tons of companies pivot their marketing budgets towards influencer marketing, and this trend is set to increase. Right now, the creator economy is valued at around $250 billion. But in just a few years, this is going to double to $470 million. So yes, there has never been a better time to become a content creator. The problem is that a lot of content creators don't know what to charge brands, and a lot of brands don't know how to create fair deals with creators. So let's uncover all that. And first, we're gonna start with the industry standard. This industry standard states that you should be charging 1% of your follower count, which means that if you have 10,000 followers, you should be charging on average $100 per post. While this was true many years ago, it has completely transformed lately with the change in social media. And there are several factors that will determine how much you can increase that base fee that you should be charging brands. And these factors are your engagement rate. In case you don't know what your engagement rate is, it is the sum of all the interactions from one post divided the total reach from that post. In the past, engagement rate was measured upon your follower count. So total interactions divided follower count. This is not fair because our content is not reaching 10% of our audience. So the best way to calculate your real engagement rate from one specific post is to calculate it based on the people that post reached. Does that make sense? Now, if your engagement rate is higher than industry standards, you can 100% charge more than that base fee. Now I'm gonna share with you the average engagement rate across all industries. If you have less than 1,000 followers, the average engagement rate is 8%. Between 1,000 and 5,000 followers, 5.7%. Between 5,000 followers to 10,000 followers, it goes down to 4%. Between 10,000 followers and 100,000 followers, it goes down to 2.4%. And any creator that has an audience bigger than 100,000 followers tends to have an engagement rate of 1.7%. So think about this now. If you fall within any of these categories, first, you're doing great, keep up your engagement rate. If not, I do have an entire video where I'm sharing strategies that can help you boost your engagement, so I'm linking it above. And now let's see it in a practical example. Let's pretend that you have 20,000 followers and you have an engagement rate of 8%, which is way above average for your follower count. 5 times higher to be more specific. So you could be charging 5% of your followers as a base fee for your post. So if you have 20,000 followers, 5% is 1,000. So you can be charging $1,000 for one post if you have a high engagement rate. The second factor to consider is exclusivity. In most cases, when you sign an agreement with a brand, they're gonna forbid you to work with their competitors. And it makes sense because you don't wanna be promoting similar brands. It wouldn't look very trustworthy in front of your audience. However, depending on your niche, signing an exclusivity deal could limit yourself drastically. So the brand should compensate you for this. In fact, they should be paying you your base fee times the number of months they want exclusivity for. And this is where things usually shake a little bit. I've had contracts where they're asking for a year of exclusivity. When I tell them, okay, these are my rates for this year of exclusivity, they back down and then they reduce the number of months of exclusivity. So make sure that you're always reading the contract before signing, because exclusivity will most likely always be there. So back to our previous example, if your base fee is $1,000 and they're asking for 6 months of exclusivity, you can now charge an extra $6,000 for this brand deal. Factor number 3 is content usage and image rights. What does this mean? Well, when brands work with creators and you deliver the content, chances are that they will want to use this content in their marketing material, including maybe their website, email, social media. And while this is great, you should be paying for that, because in the past, brands used to pay thousands, if not millions of dollars to advertisers and content creation agencies to create content for their marketing channels. Now they're paying you as a creator, but so why are they paying less than what they used to pay? It doesn't make sense to me, right? So this is basically how you license your content. And the industry average is 30% of your base fee. So again, if your base fee is $1,000 and they want to use your content for 6 months, you should multiply 1,000 times 30%, which is $1,800 extra that you should be charging for content usage and image rights. Variable number 4, whitelisting. This is very similar to content usage and image rights, but this is when brands want to use your content for sponsored ads. And this tends to happen a lot. Most of the contracts that I've signed as a content creator always ask me if I want my content to be used as ads. The thing is that not all of the time they're gonna offer you a fee for this, so you have to be really careful. The industry standard is also 30% of your base fee. However, I know some content creators that also charge 4 to 5% of the ad spend that the brand will be using to promote their content. What does this mean? Let's say that the brand wants to promote your content as a sponsored post, as an ad, for the next 6 months, and the budget, the amount of money that they will put into this promoted campaign is gonna be $2,000, right? So as a content creator, you could be charging 4 to 5% of these $2,000 on top of the 30% of the base fee. If this is too confusing, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to explain it better. So let's say that they want to use your content as ads for the next 6 months. This would be $1,800. But now let's say that you want to charge 5% of the ad spend. This would be $1,900. And yes, it's only $100 more, but it starts adding up, right? Let's talk about other deliverables for Instagram. You could also be charging for a link in bio. And while there are no industry standards for how much should you be charging for your link in bio, think about it this way. When you change your link in bio, which means that you are losing sales. So if the brand wants you to add their link into your bio, you should be paid for this. A good way of calculating how much to charge for your link in bio is to think in terms of website clicks and the cost per click on Instagram ads, okay? So last week I got 651 website clicks in my link in bio. The average cost per click on Instagram ranges between 40 to 70 cents. So I'm going to multiply these 651 clicks times 40 cents, and that's an extra $260 per week that I can charge the brand. Again, if this sounds like too complicated, just let me know down there in the comments and I'll try to explain it better. Another deliverable that you can charge for is Instagram stories. For these, you can typically charge between 5 to 10% of your stories impressions. But this will depend if the brand wants you to add a link to their website. If they want a link in your story, you could charge more. So let's pretend that on average, you get 1,000 impressions per story. So you could easily charge $50 per story. Per story, remember that most of the times brands want a set of multiple stories. And if they want you to add the link, this could go to $100 per story. And now that we've covered the basics for creator partnerships, I want to address one of the most trending topics in the past year, and that is UGC. Well, UGC is a completely different story, and I could create an entire video. By the way, if you want a video on UGC, drop it in the comments. I could create an entire video on what is UGC, how does it work, how to set your rates, but I do want to mention it here because someone recently told me that my brand partnership guide was amazing, but they had some questions about UGC. So I made my research and this is what I found. The average rate for a 15 to 60 second video starts at $150. Creators also offer bundles and they typically offer a 19% discount. And there are different factors that determine whether or not you can charge more for a UGC video, like the equipment that you use. If you're using professional equipment, obviously charge more. If you're using your phone, well, the quality is not going to be the same. However, for UGC, you don't need super high quality content. Brands want more raw, authentic, and organic-like content. UGC rates also have different deliverables that will affect how much you should be charging for a UGC video. And let me tell you, I've charged from $1,000 to $2,500 for one 60-minute video. And no, this was not because I have a huge audience. Remember, you don't need to have any audience to create UGC content. So here's what I found. If the brand asks for multiple concepts, you could offer 25% discount on the single video rate. If the brand wants variations of hooks and CTAs, call to actions by the way, you can charge $50 for each variation. For UGC, the content usage has a standard of 12 months. Of course, you're providing the content to the brand. You're not gonna post it in your feed, so they have the right to use it for 12 months. However, if they want to use your content for longer than this, you can charge 30 to 50% of the base fee of one video. If the brand wants also the raw footage, you can charge 30 to 50% of the base fee. If the brand wants to do ads, aka whitelisting, you could charge 30% of your base fee. And if the brand wants you to bring into the table new trending concepts, you can charge from $150 to $200 for these. Once again, if you want me to do an entire video on UGC, drop it in the comments and I'll expand on all of these concepts because UGC is a completely different world, but a fascinating one as well. Last but not least, I want to remind you that if you want to leverage brand deals, offer packages. Instead of telling the brand, yes, I'll create one reel and one set of stories, offer one reel, one carousel, set of stories, an Instagram live, and even better, if you have email, if you have a blog, if you have a YouTube, offer these as packages. That's why it's so important in 2024 to build a multi-channel brand, because brands want to be present everywhere as well. Brands want to reach your audience everywhere. Keep in mind that people need to see at least 6 or 7 times the same message before they make a purchase decision. This marketing rule applies to influencer marketing as well. So that's why it's better to offer packages where you place the brand in your different channels. Make sure that you're aiming for long-term branded deals, because yes, a one-off partnership might perform well, it might not, but if you're consistent with a brand for 6 months or more than that, your audience is gonna see that, your audience is gonna perceive that, and they're more likely to buy that product or service that you're promoting. Now, to wrap up, as we navigate the flourishing creating economy in 2024 and beyond, remember that your unique voice and content have significant value. Stay informed on industry trends, understand your worth, and don't shy away from negotiating terms that reflect true value for you and for your audience. The landscape of creators and brands is expansive, filled with opportunities to maximize your earnings while fostering meaningful partnerships. I hope you found a lot of value in this guide, that you're ready to negotiate your next brand deal. Let me know in the comments if you learned something new, what you want to hear in the next time, if you want a video on UGC for content creators. And as always, don't forget to give those thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, because we share weekly content to help you grow and monetize on social media. And I'll see you next week for more. See ya.